So today we're going to focus a lot on hip movement. So you can do this lying down. And what we're going to do is we're going to have your legs out straight. You just want them about hip width apart. So we don't want them like really close to each other. We're just going to have them kind of line up where they naturally align with the width of your hips. And lying down on your back, what we're going to do is you're going to let both legs, they're going to go to the right, and then we're going to bring them back across and go to the left. So we're just going to see how your legs and hips rotate and what does your pelvis want to do. So as you take your legs, your feet and toes and knees are going to get turned to the right just a little bit. They're going to come back up to the middle, and then we're going to take them over to the left. And then back to the middle, and then take the toes and knees over to the right. Back to the middle, and just turn them to the left. So the foot that's rotating out is going to travel a lot further than rotating back in. Now we're going to go back to the right, back to the middle, and over to the left. Okay, now we're going to bring those feet back so they're both straight up. Now we're going to take them apart from each other. So now they're both rotating out. We're going to rotate them back to the middle and then rotate them towards each other. Back to neutral with the toes and knees pointing up, and then let them rotate out. Back to neutral and rotate the toes towards each other. So my right foot and right leg doesn't want to rotate as much. Just feels a little tighter, then rotate back to neutral and let the toes rotate out. All right, we're gonna go back to neutral. And when your feet are neutral, your legs are neutral, your toes and knees are mostly pointing up. So again, when you're neutral, lying down, you have to actively hold your knees and toes upward. How you doing, Chris? When you start to relax, the toes and knees just naturally rotate out. So we're just gonna maintain that position with the toes and knees rotated out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little hip rotation. So you wanna think about like your hips as a steering wheel. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna turn the right hip over to the left side. And then you're going to relax that, and you're going to turn the left hip over to the right side. So it's a very small movement. Back down. This right hip is turning over to the left. And that opposite, or that same side shoulder, so my right hip is moving up, my shoulder and arm are pushing into the floor. Then I relax, now I'm going to do the left side. The left side rotates over to the right, and I push this left arm into the floor. And relax. All right, so now we're going to actively bring those toes and knees up towards the sky. So this is active control. And then we're going to pull one knee up, blocking our hand. So we want to take our hand and push our thigh away, and we're pushing the thigh up. We're keeping a small space in your back. And so the leg is pushing into my hand is pushing my leg down. We're trying to keep that knee foot aligned. That foot often likes to rotate across for that hip external, but keep everything aligned. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You're pushing that opposite leg down. If you need to protect your back, you can have the opposite leg bent and foot flat. If you want to challenge your low back and pelvis a little more, have that opposite leg extended. We're going to go ahead and bring that foot down, relax the leg. We're going to slide that foot out or match what you were just doing. So again, if you want to protect your back, you'll keep that foot there. If you want to challenge your pelvis a little more, take that leg that was just bent and up. We're going to take it out straight. And now we're going to do the opposite side, bringing that opposite leg thigh up, blocking with the other hand. So before I was doing the right leg and right hand was blocking, now I'm doing my left leg, left hand is blocking. Trying to go in oppositions. Drop that foot. All right, so now what we're going to do is you're going to have both feet flat. We're going to do variations of these. So you're going to do the first one, we're going to bring the leg up. This time we're going to put less effort in pulling the leg up, but we're going to keep the hand and thigh there, and now we're going to extend the leg. And you feel how tight that is, how much tension there is in your lower back, into your hamstrings and everything. We're going to bend that leg. Bring that foot back down. We're going to straighten the opposite leg. And we're going to bring that leg that was just up. We're going to bring it up once again and extend the foot once again. But now we're doing it with your leg out straight. So you're going to experience a lot more tightness in this leg that is up in the air, all by what you did with the opposite leg. So now you'll probably feel that it's a lot more tight. It's a little bit harder to hold the extension, all because of what you did to the other leg. And then we're going to bring that leg down, bring the foot to the floor. We're going to bring both feet flat. And now we're going to do the opposite leg. So I've been doing the right, and I'm going to do the left. Do the left the first time with the foot flat. Extend the leg. Where do you feel it get tight? Hold it here and nice and steady. Where do you feel these? This one I feel a lot more on this outer top part. Then we're going to bend that leg. We're going to straighten the right leg, bring the left leg back up, and then we're going to see how much tighter does it get, or what sensation changes. Can you, with keeping your knee straight, can you bring that foot up a little bit higher, getting a little bit more of a stretch on this backside, keeping that front of the thigh nice and tight, and then we'll bring that foot down to the floor. Our feet are going to be flat on the floor. Our feet are out wide at the edges of the mat or the towel. And we're going to lift your hips high to the sky, squeeze those glutes. And back down. If you want, you can lower all as one piece, or you can roll down a single vertebrae. Here we go. We're going to lift those hips high. And again, you can lower as one piece and then lower, or you can roll down one vertebrae at a time. So I lowered as one piece. We're going to lift back up. And then lower. This time I'm going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. We're going to lift one more time. Lifting those hips high to the sky. Squeeze those glutes. Push your feet into the floor. Try to stretch the front part of your hips, knowing that you're putting tension into your lower back, into your glutes, and then relax. All right, we're going to do some stuff for the arms. We're going to take your arms out wide like they're out like a T. And all we're doing here is we're just lifting the hands just about a couple inches off the floor. So they're not lifting really high. We're just lifting them up just a little bit. We're holding it nice and steady, and then relax. This just works the very front part of the shoulder, an area that often gets ignored. We're just going to lift those hands up. If this is too much, you can bend your arms and lift your elbows and hands up. So you can have your arms bent and lift. Or if you want more of a challenge, have your arms extended. So we're holding just for about a 5 count. And relax. Again, paying attention. What are your legs doing? Mine are gently relaxed and rotated out. I'm going to actively rotate them up and control them at a more neutral position, and to see if that changes my sensation when I lift my arms. And then relax. Again, we have the variations in positions, lifting those elbows and hands about 1 inch off the floor. And relax. All right. So now we're going to bend. We're going to do one arm at a time just to make it a little easier. So we're going to bend your arm, and you're going to keep it off the floor, which is an effort in itself, because if it was touching the floor, it's going to be at an angle. So I'm going to keep it aligned with the shoulder. We're going to let the hand fall backwards. And then we're going to rotate the fingertips up to the ceiling. Let the hand gently fall backwards. The palm and form are parallel to the floor, and then rotate the fingertips back up. As you rotate back, really controlling it, making sure that you're not speeding into that position. Position of tightness, pause right there, right back upward. Slowly go down and back up. We'll switch sides. So we bring this a hand out to the side, elbows out, the elbows touching the floor. We lift that arm and elbow off the floor. We let that hand and fingertips rotate back so that form is parallel to the floor. Rotate back up. Rotate back down with control, controlling the speed. Back up. 2 more. Good control. My arm started elevating on this side. So, use your eyes, use your vision to help see where you're at. All right. Now we're going to go with our arms along our sides. This time we are going to keep your elbows on the floor. And we're just going to bend your elbows, palms to the shoulder, to keep your back of the arms and elbows on the floor. And then take those hands out straight and then back out. And so it's hard to get them fully extended because the elbow stays on the floor. But you can go to it's relatively straight. And then we're right back up, keeping the back of the arm on the floor. So we're just going as straight as you can before the elbows want to lift. And then we're right back, bringing the hands to the tops of the shoulders. Squeeze at the top, squeeze the top. Think about that bicep getting a little bit tighter. And then slowly let those palms extend, facing up towards the ceiling. Back down. All right, we're going to rest those arms. We're going to do some hip rotations. So before we did the straight leg hip rotations, now we're going to do the bent leg. So we're going to keep your feet flat. We're going to take one leg up at a time. We want to keep those thighs side by side. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the foot across, holding the external rotation. So the foot's going across the body towards this opposite shoulder. We bring it back to the middle. And then we're going to go hold the internal rotation, which is foot out. Back to neutral. External. Try not to let this other leg move. A lot of times it wants to fall out. Back to neutral. Rotate inward. Back to neutral. Bring that foot across, going towards this opposite shoulder, opposite hip. Back to neutral. Hip internal, which is foot out. Back to neutral. Rotate it across. One more with the internal. We go to neutral, pausing, and then take the foot out, which is hip internal. And then we're back to neutral, drop that foot down. We'll do the opposite leg. So we bring the foot up. And again, my knee isn't completely 90. I don't have my knee up here or my thigh. I have a little open up in this hip space. It just opens more rotation. So we're taking that foot across towards this opposite hip and shoulder. We're holding it there. Go back to neutral. We take the foot out, which is hip internal. Go back to neutral. Rotate the foot across. Back to neutral. Hip internal, foot is going out. Back to neutral. Pause with neutral. Take the foot out, which is hip internal. Back to neutral. One more time each direction. So taking the foot across, hip external. Back to neutral. And take the foot out, which is hip internal. So those are hip rotations with us face up. Now we're going to lie face down and we're going to do more hip rotations. All right. So I just finished with my right leg. So I'm going to go back to my left. This is where we're putting your elbows out wide, forehead on the back of your hands. We're doing one leg at a time. So we bend the leg that you're going to use. We take the leg up, the thigh out to the side of the yoga mat. And then we let that foot fall to the back of the knee on the opposite leg. And my foot doesn't get there. We're going to hold it right there. Then you're going to bring it back to neutral. And then you let the foot fall out to the side, which is hip internal. And here's where we're really trying to keep the pelvis on the mat, back to neutral. As I go across, the same side pelvis wants to rotate up, but I make sure it stays in contact. Back to neutral, hip internal. And that's the opposite side pelvis wants to rotate, back to neutral.
So this is same motion as happening in the hip. Then back to neutral than what we were just doing, but the sensations might feel really different. Okay, we're going to go one more each position, taking the foot across to the back of the leg, which is hip external, back to neutral, take the foot out, which is hip internal, back to neutral, bring that thigh back in. We're going to drop that foot down. We're going to switch to the other leg, bend the knee, foot out to the side of the mat, let that foot rotate and lower leg rotate to the back of the leg. That's out straight. Pause, holding it there. Paying attention to what your neck is doing, kind of tuck your chin. Mine was starting to extend. Back to neutral. Hip internal, which is taking the foot out to the side. The opposite side pelvis likes to lift. Keep it in contact with the floor. Back to neutral. Let that foot externally rotate. Where does it get tight? Back to neutral. Take the foot out to the side, hip internal, keeping that hip down, the pelvis. Back to neutral. Take the foot across to the back of the thigh, towards it. Doesn't quite touch it. Back to neutral. Foot out, which is hip internal. What are your mouth and teeth doing? What is your head doing? Back to neutral. We got one more each position. Taking the foot across for hip external. Back to neutral. And take the foot out for hip internal rotation. Okay, and relax. Bring that thigh back in. So if you drop the backs of your, or the tops of your feet to the floor, that pushes them into plantar flexion, that's pointing your toes. You can also bring the tips of your toes and the bottoms of your toes up to the floor. That makes your ankles dorsiflex. And from the tips of your toes, we're going to bridge your knees. So you're going to tighten your quads, and that just lifts your knees up off the floor and your thighs, and then drop that back down. So we got the tips of your toes on the floor, and then we're just straightening your thighs, tightening the quads, bridging the knees and the thighs up off the floor, holding that for about a 5 count, and then relax. Here we go. Lift, tighten the quads, keep your chin tucked, and relax. All right, one more. Tighten the quads, lift the knees, bridge. You can explore how does it feel around the kneecaps, and relax. All right, we're going to go back to one arm. We're going to take the arm out to the side like a little T, and we're just lifting the hand and arm an inch or 2 off the ground. Working the back of the arms, the shoulders, the rhomboids, and then down. We do that once again. Just lift up, holding it nice and steady. And relax. We're going to switch sides. We take the other hand out to the side like a T. Put the other hand underneath our forehead. Here we go. Lift the hand and arm up just an inch or 2 off the ground. And relax. Here we go. Once again, lift up and hold. And relax. Okay, we're going to go back to that first side we did. So now the hand is going to go along our side, palm is down, thumb out. And we're lifting the hand, fingertips towards our feet. Lift the hand and arm up off the floor, just an inch or 2. And then relax. Here we go once again. Really strengthening the lower part of your shoulder, your tricep. Helping get some of that tension away from your neck and shoulders. And relax. Okay, we'll do the other side. Switch which hand is underneath your forehead. Palm is along your side, thumb is out. Lift that hand and arm. Keep your chin tight, space between your teeth, no clenching. And relax. Here we go. Once again, lift the hand up, reach the fingertips towards your feet.
and relax. All right, we're gonna move to a seated position. So we're gonna move to a seated position. This gives you a chance to explore, like, how well does your body enjoy being in these positions? All right. And how much of a stretch are you getting when you sit up nice and tall? All right, so from this position, what we're gonna do is you're gonna bring your fingertips to your shoulders. We're gonna rotate. And you're gonna hold this rotation and you're gonna side bend, lean over, and then lean back up. You're rotating the same direction, and we're just side bending the other direction. So just like you're taking the shoulder down, then back up, we're gonna rotate away. We're gonna rotate to the other side. Just a small little motion, like doing a little teacup. You're just squeezing down, back up, and to the other side. You're trying to keep your glutes and contact points on the floor. Back up. Okay, so now you're gonna bring your feet up. You're gonna bring your hands behind your thighs. And you're gonna lean back, keeping your chest and back up nice and straight, and then right back into it. You're gonna lean back, keep that chest up, and then right back into it. So as you lean back, you'll probably feel your low back start to feel a little low grade discomfort. You'll notice your abs getting tighter. Yep. Here we go. The less that you hang on, the more your abs have to work, and right back up. We're gonna do one more. All right. Excellent job.